Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Show. Lisa Odom with Miguel Odom. Attorneys at law are estate planning gurus in many ways. They understand business, they understand personal lives, they understand you, and they're accountable. And I want to touch on that because we just brought up some great reasons why you need to do not just your own personal estate planning. We can go on and on. Lisa has in many shows before. You can check that out at donandgino.com. Click on the YouTube channel, and you can hit up Lisa Odom, and you'll see all these great interviews with Lisa explaining why you need to have an estate plan and why it's not just important to you, but important to your family, your friends, your children. It's so important because I've had that happen for me. And luckily, we had one for my dad, and thank goodness that made things 100 times easier.
Now, you mentioned accountability, and I was thinking to myself that if you were to take the...
I don't know if we hear you, Gino.
Is this thing on?
I don't think so.
No? I think so. I think it's on. I think
Okay.
it's just a little quiet.
Okay.
Anyway.
Told you it's a live show.
Yeah. Bloopers just for you. But the thing I was thinking about was, you mentioned accountability, and I'm thinking about the aprgi.com, the APRG magazine that we were discussing, is if you were to go through the magazine and you were to visit every single person in there, every one of their offices, you would come out the other side with just a tremendously more valuable life. Everything would be taken care of, you would have peace of mind, and just be able to be more successful in general.
And we'll talk. I want to talk a little bit about that, about the accountability piece, Lisa, because I have my own horror stories. Who hasn't? Who hasn't heard about a horror story regarding dealing with lawyers or getting sued or whatever? And Lisa brought up a ton of great reasons why you need to have a plan in place, because there's so many parameters you haven't even thought of. We were talking about, what if a partner goes bankrupt? What if one gets sick? You're going over and over. But let me forewarn you how important it is to work with the right attorney, one that's accountable, one that cares about you, one that cares about living here in Santa Clarita and being accountable to Santa Clarita. Because I had a horror story where in a partnership where the attorney was supposed to be a family friend of my partner's, and unfortunately didn't look out for our best interest, and it cost us our business. If he would have given us the suggestions that he should have at the beginning, we would have been done and over with, and we would have saved a ton of money. Instead, he ran us through the ringer for 6 months of just hell, and $60,000, $70,000 in all the capital in our business at that time, and it could have been handled a different way. And there's a common theme that I hear with great attorneys for a reason. Ones that are successful years and years and years here in Santa Clarita, which you have to be accountable, or you will not survive in Santa Clarita. And McDowell Odom's got 35 years experience. We have Jim Reap, who's the #1 family law attorney in town. Both of them say the same thing that I've heard over and over, is our job is actually to help you eliminate litigation, not get you into it. Am I right, Lisa?
Absolutely. Litigation is so costly for our clients. We don't want them to be in it. We want to avoid it at all costs, because frankly, we don't want them to lose their business because they spent all the money on lawyers' fees.
Yeah, I saw you cringe when I told you that story. You're like, oh no.
Oh yeah, and I hear it a lot. I can't tell you how many times people come in and they are either scared of lawyers or they hate them because they've paid a lot of fees to them. And I hear the stories, and it's honestly embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The profession is a great profession. We help people a lot, but those bad ones give all of us a bad name, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it happens in all our industries.
I was going to say, we could definitely, feel the same way about our industry. There's definitely people in our industry that, and sometimes without malice, that's one of the things that I want everyone to know, is sometimes without malice, they have those issues. It's not like they mean to do a bad thing, but they're just not talented enough, or they're not creative enough, or they just plain made a mistake.
Exactly.
So they just don't have the experience. So a lot of times we see in our industry people that don't have the experience put people in the wrong program, and then they end up losing their homes or things of that nature.
Right.
So work with the right professionals. Lisa, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
So you can definitely call us at 661-449-9630, or find us on our website, which is www.mcdowellodom.com.
It's a nice website, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Furman, you got that up already on the screen there? He's looking for it now, because you can go to donandgino.com, and it's a live show, and Furman's putting up her information right on the screen, because you really should speak with Lisa and her mother, Claudia. They're just great people, and I love that you guys, either twice. Oops.
It's a very live
Very
show.
live show. Stuff falls down. But it's cool that you guys by either giving great suggestions through all your knowledge and your care and due diligence, or by proper planning up front, help people eliminate having to deal with litigation. It's a lot more than just money too.
Oh, the emotionality of it. I mean, I think that might be worse than the money. I think probably.
That's what Jim always says too.
Oh, I think the money is little compared to the emotions of it. It's the constant being in turmoil, the fighting, the lawyers just in and of itself, they get at each other. And that's why we don't do litigation, is because it's just awful. I mean, it's not enjoyable for anybody. I think that they must be, wrinkly and gray faster than the other lawyers in the world.
No doubt, either that or become the president, one of those two.
Well, you must do a really good job because you're always smiling, you're always happy. I never see you all gray and wrinkled, so you're doing great.
Well, hopefully it stays that way.
No, it's good, and we should go over. Let's rehash a little bit about the whole business succession planning, real quick. What it is, why they need to do it, and why most don't do it.
So again, it's basically devising a exit strategy for a business owner so that they can get out of the business when it's the right time for them, whether that be because they die or because they want to retire or because they have a disease or something that makes them unable to. So that's the thought on it, is devising that strategy so that their business, which is a significant asset in most people's situation, can actually be an asset that provides for them and their family.
And it can include a buyout clause, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the most common way of handling that exit
what
strategy.
if one partner wants to get out and is tired of the other one or whatever? What do you do?
Exactly. And if you plan all that in the beginning before you have those issues, it's really nice.
So eliminate those emotions.
Exactly. So that's what it is.
And most don't do it because?
And most don't do it just because they think that they don't need to. They don't think it matters for them, or they think that their family will figure it out.
They're invincible, right?
Exactly. Everybody.
I just told her that during one of the breaks. I said, it's ego.
It's ego.
It's ego that stands in the way of getting it done. It says, it's never going to happen to me. I don't need it.
Yep, that never going to happen to me mentality is also our problem in estate planning. Nobody, and it's funny because it's the one thing that is certain. So we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So
What was that? I love we had Miles McNamara. He goes, none of us are getting out of this alive.
None of us. Absolutely not.
I'm like, oh, that's true.
It's a sad statement, but it's true.
All right. And you need to have a plan, whether we're bringing out the importance of doing it for your business. You need to do it for your personal lives as well. I mean, and it's not super expensive.
No, it's not super
It's more expensive if you don't do it.
It's so much more expensive if you don't do it, because first of all, you're potentially losing a lot of value in the business in that particular case. In
Or
an
your
estate
personal
plan,
assets.
yeah, in your estate plan, you're potentially giving a lot to attorneys and to the court system to deal with the probate.
Yeah, we talked about Gandolfini. He gave up because he didn't have a proper estate plan. Gave up $10 million that his family should have gotten.
Oh yeah,
$10 million. Oops.
And actually, what's interesting is celebrities are probably the most common people who don't do it properly. Maybe it's because of ego, I don't know, but it's so important. They lose a lot of money to their families because of it. It's so sad.
Yeah, from what I understand, his was a lack of maintenance.
Yes.
Is it had been done, but then his life changed so much that he needed to maintain it and change it.
Yep.
Yeah, with ex-wife and a child and all that good stuff.
Yep.
All right, again, how do they get a hold of Lisa Odom with McDowell Odom Attorneys at Law?
Call us at 661-449-9630 or find us on our website at www.mcdowellodom.com.
All right, and always adding value, a good friend and a great job, and thank you for being part of APRG. It's a great resource for everybody.
Thank you
exciting.
for selecting us. The magazine is
Everybody
absolutely beautiful.
selected you. Everybody was selected for a reason in that magazine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being part of our show with Lisa Odom. We have our real estate hour coming up in just a few minutes with the great Paul Dinkle. You'll love Paul. We'll be right back.